going on, guys, and welcome back to the Dad Bod Gaming channel. Today we are talking about the Eero Pro Wi-Fi system. It's a $500 Wi-Fi system. Is it worth it? Is it right for you? We're going to discuss that today. What is a mesh Wi-Fi system? Well, a mesh Wi-Fi system is a system that uses multiple nodes that work together to expand the wireless network to decrease dead spots and widen range. Why is this good? If you have a house like mine that has dead spots in it, be it from plumbing or architectural design or just overall size of the house, and you need to get Wi-Fi in certain areas of the house you can't get it with a conventional router, the mesh Wi-Fi systems are the best for you. But is it worth it for someone like me? I have a very unique system. When I was designing my basement to build it out and finish it up, I decided that I wanted to wire everything in the house. I had full access to the basement, I had full access to the attic, and I thought, what better way to get great internet in every part of my house than wire it up as best as I can. So I have a, let's take a look. I have a 24-port network switch that I use to wire up everything in my house, from my gaming consoles, my computers, my smart TVs, my Android TVs, my Apple TVs, anything that could possibly be wired, I wired in. But I was having trouble with wireless in the house with my cell phone, laptop, iPads, things like that. I originally had a Netgear Nighthawk X6, which is one of the first tri-band routers that were out. I worked for a retail company at the time, and I was able to get a great deal on it. Now, I was getting spots in my house where I just wasn't getting great signal. The signal that I was getting on the 5 gigahertz bands was terrible. So I would be sitting 15 feet from the router, or even as close as 8 feet from the router, and I would be trying to watch a video on YouTube, and the video would buffer and buffer. And when I switched down to the 2 gigahertz signal, it was perfect. So I realized that there were some things that were on the 5 gigahertz network that were not supposed to be there, and I tried to go in and revamp everything, delete it, or remove everything from Wi-Fi, re-add everything to Wi-Fi to the correct network, but still I just wasn't getting the best signal quality possible. So through a recommendation of a friend of mine, I went out and got the Eero Pro. Now I connected it. Setup is incredibly easy. It's all done through the Eero Pro app, and I have to tell you that is probably one of the simplest Wi-Fi networks that I've ever set up. The app gives you everything you can need. The walkthrough is incredible, and it took about 15 minutes to set up the entire network. All 3 nodes, tells you where to place them in the house. When you place them, it actually runs a diagnostic to determine if you place them in the best area possible based on the signal strength of the house, and it'll tell you if it needs to be moved or not. Everything was going great. That was in November. In February, I started gaming again. And one thing I noticed while gaming on a wired connection from my Xbox, my PC, my PlayStation was incredibly high pings. I was getting pings in Call of Duty Modern Warfare as high as 900. And then when I switched from my Xbox, because I thought it might have been my Xbox dying, to my PC and began playing on my PC, I was getting 900 ping on there as well. And then, to make matters worse, while streaming, I was getting quality drop. While streaming, I noticed my bandwidth and upload would go from 6,000 kilobits down to 100 kilobits per second, which was miserable and made an incredibly poor experience for anyone watching the stream. What I learned through some trial and error while playing with the Eero was that the wired connection seemed to be the problem. Now, through conversations with Eero support, they were telling me to make sure the firmware was updated, which it was. They told me to swap units, so I did. And all the while, I was still getting the same 900 ping on Call of Duty. Apex, you can't tell the ping, but I was getting packet loss and latency issues. It was just miserable to play. It made the games unplayable. Let me remind you that from the back of the Eero, an Ethernet cable was running to the 24-port Netgear network switch, which was then sending signal out to all wired devices in the house. And all wired devices were experiencing the same problem. So my first thought was that it was the switch. The easiest thing to do, rather than replace the full 24-port switch, was to use an old 4-port switch that I had to ensure that my PC and my gaming consoles were wired to a better switch, or what I thought was a better switch, and I was able to connect all the other devices to Wi-Fi. Once I connected them to Wi-Fi, everything got better except for the wired devices. They were still getting terrible latency issues, which was my worst fear. Only way I've been able to fix latency issues with the Eero Pro is to bypass the Eero Pro altogether for all wired connections, which is kind of ridiculous because it's a $500 router. And you would think that a $500 router would be able to handle wired connections, considering before wireless, the basic function of a router was wired. So I can't imagine why this can't do it, but for some reason, it just can't. So what I do now is I go from my Files box to my old Netgear X6 and turn off the wireless on that unit and use the Eero now as just an access point. I'm still getting the wireless signal, and the wireless signal is much better than what the Netgear is able to give me, but I'm not utilizing it at all for the wired functionality, which also does limit me in the functionality of the app. This particular setup, while it does work, is kind of annoying, considering I spent $500 on a router that I'm only using half of. But it is the best wireless signal that I've had. If you are running a pure wireless setup, this might be the best thing for you. If you're not running a full wireless setup and you hardwire your equipment like I do, especially your most important equipment like your gaming consoles and TV, I probably wouldn't recommend this router. I probably would go with a conventional router with a 4-port switch on the back that is meant to handle multiple network ports that you can use an additional switch onto, which will be able to route wire connections correctly. I do hope this video helped you. If you were interested in the Eero Pro, if you're interested in it for wired connections, you can connect a switch to it. I wouldn't recommend it for gaming or anything that requires low latency, like gaming or streaming or things like that. But if you're looking for a pure wireless connection, and you're a wireless gamer, you have something like a switch, or your router is just not close to where your entertainment console is, and you can do wireless with Xbox, it works great. I was able to use Xbox, my PC, PlayStation, all wireless for about a month with zero latency issues whatsoever. The only latency issues I ever had were on the wired connection from the Eero. So if you can go wireless, this is the router for you. If you're looking to do wired like me, I recommend going with a conventional router. I just think they work better. You'll save a ton of money, and I think you'll have a better experience. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want to talk more, I stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll put a link below. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.